Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We are back for team selection video for Game Week 6. So, yeah, we'll look ahead to Game Week 6, talk about transfer plans, and as you can see from the title as well, I've done a bit of a U-turn. We will come on to that in a second, but yeah, how you doing, Jordan? How's your week gone so far?
Yeah, so far so good this week. Obviously, we're coming close to Game Week 6. Fast approaching. But yeah, a lot to talk about. A lot of exciting updates, obviously, especially for us as well. But yeah, it's been a good week.
Yeah, so as you see from the title, guys, I am on a wild card now. So I haven't activated it yet, I'll be honest. So I've done one transfer, one move early, as you guys will know from the previous stream. And my initial sort of plans were not to wildcard, but I've decided I might change that idea. But we'll let go with Jordan's team first. We'll let you discuss your game week 6 draft. Talk us through your bus team first, and then obviously your transfer plans as well.
Yeah, so starting off obviously with my goalkeeper and the back defense. So let's go with it. So we've got Hermanson in goal, who's got Arsenal away. It's not the ideal fixture, but I don't have another playing goalkeeper in place for him, so I'm kind of have to stick with that goalkeeper choice. I'll keep that short and sweet because there's not really else much I can add to that.
You got no one playing goalie.
My other goalkeeper, yeah, Vardy Molson is the forming in Brentford goalkeeper, so I'm forced to play Hermanson. Should have really thought about that in the wild card I did 3 games ago, but it's nice fixtures after that Arsenal game. So moving on to the back 3. So starting off with Robinson, who has Nottingham Forest away. And there's not been many clean sheets from him, but he's had 2 assists so far this season. It's a tough opponent, Nottingham Forest. Can't really say there's going to be a clean sheet from his fixture, but maybe if Fulham do score, he may provide an assist in that game. Moving on to the player next to him, that's Robertson, who's got Wolves away. So, yeah, Liverpool played yesterday in the other competition, and Robertson then came on for a few minutes, so he should be fine and well rested for that Wolves away game.
Yeah.
Hoping for more clean sheets for Liverpool in the obviously the nice run of fixtures they do have. And yeah, kind of wish I still had Trent in place for Robertson, but he's a good pick regardless for the clean sheets. And finally, moving on to the last defender, that is Lewis Dunk, who's got Chelsea away. Now, obviously, the Brighton fixtures do swing now, become more challenging, more harder. So, not a big fan of playing Dunk. He is part of my plans, obviously, so I won't delve too much into Dunk, but he is my final third defender. So, let's move on to my midfield picks and see how many I line up with. So, I've gone with 5 in the midfield again. Starting off with Palmer, who's got Brighton at home, so obviously he plays against Dunk, a bit of a clash. Now, obviously, Palmer isn't as reliant on obviously goals and assists as he normally is for Chelsea, but he is still providing them from getting a goal in Game Week 5, a nice goal as well. And I think it's going to be a tough fixture. The way Brighton have played so far this season, still unbeaten as well. So anything can happen in that game. Could be quite a grudge stalemate kind of one, but yeah, hopefully Palmer does deliver once again for me. Next to him, we've got Rodgers, who has Ipswich away. So finally, we saw Rodgers finally get his return, and not only that, 2 assists. So hopefully he can equalise on that in the Ipswich away fixture. I imagine it's going to be very tough playing at Ipswich. Not teams have struggled there, but I'm pretty confident that Rodgers, after those 2 assists that he got last game week, that he can provide something in that fixture too. Moving on to Liverpool midfielders, so we've got Diogo Jota as Wolves away. Bit disappointing from last game week. He obviously was benched and didn't play any minutes at all. He did play obviously a few minutes in yesterday's Liverpool game in the other competition, but it's a bit 50-50 whether he starts against Wolves away or not. Beside him, we've got Mo Salah. He's got Wolves away, obviously the same fixture. He is my vice captain. And yeah, not really much to say about Salah. I imagine he's going to keep his good run of form up, providing an assist or a goal in that game. And it should be a nice 3-pointer for Liverpool in general. And hopefully Salah is part of the goals during that game. And finally, we've got Mitoma, who completes the double up on the Brighton. He's got Chelsea away. I was pretty annoyed at last game week where Mitoma wasn't really involved in the game itself. A lot of people were passing it more up to the right instead of him to the left. So I'm hoping there's more involvement from him in that Chelsea game, but he's going to be a tough one. So not really feel the confidence playing Matoma, but he is there as my 5th midfielder. And obviously, let's finish off the rest of the team with Haaland, who's got Newcastle away, and he is my captain pick. I've sort of succumbed to obviously captaining Haaland because it hasn't worked out not having him. It hasn't worked out not going against him as a captain pick. So this week, he's definitely my captain choice. He has got Newcastle away, which you could say is pretty, I wouldn't say a tough fixture, but it is one of those ones where anything can happen. I'm sure Man City will win that game. Just depends on whether Haaland keeps his streak of returns going. I imagine he will. And that's why I put the captain on him to see how many goals he can get from that fixture. But hopefully he doesn't blank once I've now finally captained him for game week 6. And obviously the tragic news of João Pedro, which we probably all expected was going to happen after the last game week where he didn't look 100%. He is now ruled out for Chelsea away game due to injury. So yeah, he's currently red flagged and won't be back till around October time, the start of October. So yeah, a big blow, I guess. It didn't really pay off bringing João Pedro in, but that's just one of those unfortunate things. And just
sorry, how long is João Pedro out for? I didn't actually see the news.
It's saying he's back in 2nd of October, I think. So
Okay.
I think
Not
it's like
that long.
No, it's a short term, maybe a week or two before he's back, but that's if how many minutes he does play once he is returned from injury again. And just to finish off the bench order, we've got obviously a non-playing goalkeeper for Brentford, who've got West Ham at home. Keane, the Everton defender's got Crystal Palace at home. Fi's got Arsenal away. And Wheatley from Man United, who's got Tottenham at home, who's the non-playing forward. In terms of transfer plans, well, I've got 2 free transfers and 0.2 million in the bank. And yeah, this week I am going to take a -4 to bring players in. Now, bear in mind, guys, I've already done these moves, as you're about to see on the screen. I've already confirmed it because if I do wait until tomorrow, I will be priced out of the move. So I had to do it early on today. But as you can see, these are the moves I went for the -4. So I've decided to take out Lewis Dunk, Diego Jota, and obviously João Pedro. Those 3 out my team. And the players I'm bringing in for them are going to be, Gabriel. He's got Leicester at home, nice fixture, and I do want some Arsenal asset in there. And I've gone with the defender pick of Gabriel as I am priced out of Saka or Havertz. Next in the midfield, we've got Semenyo, who obviously replaces the Jota, which I think in terms of minutes, I don't know how many minutes he's going to get. Plus, he's had 3 blanks in the last 3 games.
I think Jota starts. I think we spoke. Jota will definitely play 90 minutes. Not 90. I should say he will definitely start. Probably gets an hour, 70 minutes, because he was taken off after 58. I think to protect him for the game on the weekend because Darwin got the 90 minutes, and I still think Jota is the preferred choice up front for Liverpool. I think Darwin's still the backup for now, but obviously with Jota, Liverpool have so much firepower, so Jota could get an hour come off the bench. As we know, they've got Gakpo who looked good as well.
Yeah, and that's the only issue as well with Jota not playing full 90 minutes. Would be nice for him to do that, just to play extra 20. Could mean a goal for him. But again, the non-returns he's had compared to Luis Diaz, which is kind of a sideways move. If we have picked Jota, it hasn't really worked out because Diaz has had much of the glory in that sense. So I have changed him out for Semenyo, who obviously is a 90-minute player man. He's also got one of the best fixtures in game week 6 to get Southampton at home. And he's 5.6 million, which is a nice addition. And finally, Chris Wood replaces João Pedro. I was kind of looking for a replacement around him, the best one, and arguably I'll say Chris Wood is. I believe he's 6.1 million, expected to rise in price. He's got Fulham at home, and yeah, in terms of the price, that is how I could really stretch to. As you can see, 0.0 million in the bank, so I've got no spare cash, and that is for a -4, and that is confirmed already, guys. I've already brought those players into my team.
Okay, nice one. We'll come on to your team in a second as well. I'll ask you a few questions about your team. Got Mehdi in the chat. Says hello. Hello, mate. Hope you're well. Also, guys, if you're watching the stream, please do hit that like button. Make sure I also subscribe to our channel as well. As you guys can see from the actual title of the video, I am on a wild card. I think I'm going to hit it. There's too many things on my team that, especially with João Pedro now being injured, etc., not having enough Arsenal really. I thought I'd pull the trigger and do it. So I'll show you with my screen. So I've been playing around with two sort of different drafts. So this is currently what I've landed on. But there's two or three changes with this team. So just bear with me. Hopefully you guys can see that. Is that a bit better?
A little bit
zoomed
further.
in a bit too much. Hopefully, yeah, you guys can see that clearly.
Yeah.
So in goal, the two goalkeepers I've gone with this draft. This is one draft. I'll show you draft two. The first draft was Flecken and Fabianski as the goalkeepers. So Flecken, the Brentford goalkeeper. I've gone with the back five of Gabriel, Rico Lewis, Greaves, Trent, and Mikalenko. Mikalenko is flagged, but he should be fine. Then the midfield five, I've gone with Luis Diaz, Rogers, Mbeumo, Saka, and Semenyo. And then up front, I've gone Havertz, Haaland, and Chris Wood. Now, this is the first draft, and I've also just changed it to this draft. Before this draft, I had this. I'll just show you. So the three players different. So I didn't have Havertz, I didn't have Flecken, and yeah, so I didn't have Havertz and Flecken essentially, and I had Raya, the goalie. Hold on, midfielders. I had Raya in place of Flecken, and then I had Dom Solanke instead of Havertz. So essentially, double Arsenal defense compared to double Arsenal attack. Because if I bring Havertz in, obviously I can't bring Raya. The only thing about Raya, he is currently flagged and he missed the game yesterday with a muscle injury. And rumours are that he will miss Leicester's game, but he should be back for game week 7 against Southampton. So if you're going to include Raya, you're going to have 10 playing players potentially in game week 6, assuming everyone's got a non-playing goalkeeper for their bench. So if I was to have Raya on the wild card, it would mean I play with 10 probably against Leicester, which isn't ideal. It is a risk including him. So if I don't include him, I can go to Flecken and Havertz up front. I mean, which do you prefer, Jordan? Raya and Solanke, or Flecken and Havertz, and go double Arsenal attack instead of the defense?
I do prefer double Arsenal defense, if I'm honest, because I spoke about this obviously off stream.
Yeah.
In terms of looking at Arsenal's how many goals they score each game, we've only seen like 1 or 2. Now Arsenal are putting out a good performance, but they aren't really scoring that many goals. And you could say they have tough matches, and they got easy ones coming up next. But I think I still side towards going with the defense, because Arsenal have one of the best defenses in the Premier League at the moment, and they've been keeping a lot of clean sheets. So I think I'll put more value in that defense rather going like for 2 attackers, maybe just one, maybe include either a Saka or a Havertz, either one.
Yeah,
doesn't really matter, but yeah, I prefer the double defense.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the double defense. The only worry is that flag that Raya's got. Now, would you get Raya in if you knew he's missing out game week 6? So essentially, I'd have to play with 10 players because Fabianski is not going to start. So would you still bring Raya in and play with 10 for 1 week?
I think I would, because it is only the goalkeeper, and if there's not many that clean sheets to happen in game week 6, which, judging by the fixtures, I won't see many clean sheets happening this week. So you might be able to get away with just as long as he's back for the next game, which he should be. Then I don't think it's too bad him missing out on 1 game with a goalkeeper.
What about someone like an Edison who's 5.5 million? So he's 0.1 cheaper than Raya because Raya's had that price rise. He's got a lovely set of fixtures coming up. So Newcastle away, which is quite tough. But then after that, Fulham, Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, Brighton.
Yeah, the only thing with Man City is they've kept 1 clean sheet this season. That was against Chelsea. They seem to always let in 1 goal in each of their games down to either an error or an own goal. And yeah, I don't think Edison, I wouldn't be going with him. Even the Man City defender, question whether to have or not.
Yes. Okay. I mean, I've gone with Rico Lewis more for the attack and return potential, but I do see what you mean. Obviously, they've only kept 1 clean sheet, and that was against Chelsea game week 1. They conceded to Ipswich, conceded to Brentford. Arsenal is a tough game, obviously conceded to them, and West Ham, they can get you goals as well, but it's just a fixture on. You think, there should be at least a couple clean
Yeah,
sheets, but yeah, Man City do seem to usually go 2-3-0 up, and then in the end, in the 88th minute, they always concede somehow because they probably take their foot off the gas. But Ederson's interesting. I definitely think people on Wildcard don't rule him out. 8.1% ownership. Man City are the best team in the league. They've shown that over the last couple of years, and we expect them to be up there. And Rodri's a big blow for them, but fixtures are nice. It's a potential there, but
yeah,
if Raya didn't have that flag, Raya would probably be locked on my wildcard. But yeah, that flag is a bit annoying. But at the moment, this is my wildcard draft. I may be tempted to just include Raya. We'll have to see how I feel, but I think the defense is locked. Gabriel, I'm so annoyed. I went with Saliba over Gabriel in Gameweek 1, and Gabriel's got 2 goals, and Saliba hasn't got any. And that 15-pointer against Tottenham didn't help my rank because obviously he's 20% owned now. So that was a bit frustrating. And the rest, I like Lewis because he's cheap. Could get attacking returns, and if he gets benched, I've got Greaves, who's a 4 million player. He plays 90 minutes every week. I'm not expecting that much from him. Did keep clean sheet against Brighton, however, but he's a cheap 4 million player that plays every week, so that's why he's in the team. Trent, no, I'm not going to discuss more on Trent. I think he's the best defender in the game. Mikalenko is 4.3 million. He's played 90 minutes, bar that Villa game where he came on, and then I think he missed a game due to an illness, but he should be back, and he's very cheap, 4.3 million, got a good run of fixtures, and he's a cheap player that I don't have to rely on every week, so that's why he's in the team as my sub. And then the midfield, I think I'm locked. Luis Diaz could go potentially, but again, that's more because I'm worried that he's going to miss out. But I think with the way he's playing at the moment, 14-pointer, 15-pointer, and a 16-pointer. So he's going up by a point, it seems, every big haul he has. So maybe a 17-pointer to come from him. But his ownership's rocketed up to 32%. He's had, I think, 4 price rises now at 7.9. So he's getting quite expensive. But fixtures are decent for Liverpool. And I think I do want to have some Liverpool cover. Liverpool's fixtures have slightly turned, but the way they're in at the moment, you'd expect Liverpool to play really well against Wolves and was it after that?
yeah.
I think
Palace. Sorry, I'm slightly 50-50 on Luis Diaz now, because if I had him from Game Week 2, obviously, it's been very rewarding. But if you haven't had him since then, in terms of your team, I'm a bit worried now. Have we missed out on the Luis Diaz prime moment now? Or does he carry on?
That's a fair case to add. I mean, we shouldn't pick players based on sort of what they've done, but he's in such form. And I think I do want a Liverpool player. Like, if I wasn't to go Diaz, obviously I can't afford Salah with this draft. So I think you'd just be crazy not to have a Liverpool attacker in your team. The way they're playing, the goals they're scoring, they're one of the best teams in the league. I want to have a piece of the Liverpool sort of pie, and the only way in is really Diaz or Jota, who I can afford as well. But with the form Diaz is in, and I think Slot really likes him, and Diaz has also been rested in every game in terms of the other competitions. He rested against the Champions League. He was rested in the Carabao Cup. I think he's the first choice for Premier League games, and then the other competitions, I think Gakpo, etc., are going to play. So I'm quite happy to go with Diaz. And if he does miss out the odd bench, I've got the likes of Rodgers, Wood. Like, I think the team looks quite nice, so quite happy with it because I think the bench, I've got, Semenyo, who's going to be a bench player as well. I can rely on. He's got decent fixtures in the next 2 games against Southampton and Leicester, and I'll bench him in game week 8, 9, and 10. Then up front, as you guys know, Solanke, Haaland, and Wood is what I've gone for. But Wood is done really well for me. 2 goals already. Sorry, 3 goals, I should say, this season in 6 matches. No, sorry, 5 matches. I'm losing my head there. 5 matches, and he's got 3 goals. He's a penalty taker, plays 90 minutes pretty much most weeks. I know he has some early subs, but he does usually play most minutes. Still under 10% ownership, so bit of a differential. Decent fixtures coming up. It's him or Calvert-Lewin. I think Calvert-Lewin is also a decent option, guys, if you do want to go for a different player to Chris Wood. And in terms of Solanke, I think at that price point, 7.5, under 10%, I want to take a punt on a different sort of player. I can't afford Havertz, I don't think, anyway. So fixtures are decent. And he's not that highly owned. Last season, I think he got 19 league goals. He's a main man at Spurs. He's playing 90 minutes every week, bar the 2 weeks he was injured, but he's going to play every week. Spurs don't have any other striker really, so he's going to be nailed to play. So that's why he's in the team, because I don't see any other striker that I can get for 7.8 million. I think Solanke is definitely the best 7.5. I mean, actually, there's Jackson.
Well, yeah, I was about to mention. What about, have you had a thought about Jackson at 7.7 after 2 goals and 1 assist from West
I can
Ham?
afford him. That's the thing. Do I go Jackson or Solanke? Those are the two really. I'm on Solanke at the moment, but Jackson is tempting, after his performance, 2 goals and an assist. And, he's got 4 goals for the season. He scored against Wolves, scored against Palace. He's having a good start to the season, 12.5% ownership as well. Brighton and Forest, 2 home games coming up. Fixtures after that is a bit tough. Liverpool, Newcastle, Man United, Arsenal. So that's not the easiest run. What I'm thinking is maybe starting with Solanke, and then going to someone like a Jackson afterwards, because Solanke's got, I think, slightly better fixtures than Jackson, and maybe bringing Jackson later. But I think if you're taking a punt on Jackson, I think he's worth it for sure. But I've got 7.8 million, and at that price point, Jackson, I like Solanke. There's not anyone else I'd be really considering at that price point. Obviously, there's likes Welbeck. If you want to go cheaper, Wood, we've mentioned. Calvert-Lewin, I think, is still a good pick, despite Everton's terrible start to the season. Because you look at the fixtures, I still think he'll get you goals here and there. And he plays 90 minutes as well.
It will be interesting to see, obviously, from Aston Villa, Duran, how many minutes he plays, because he's had a very good record so far. Not even Premier League, but in the other competition too. I think he scored late on in that game, scoring a penalty too.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not looking at Duran. I think, if you guys are looking at Duran, it has to be for a bench player, but he's just not going to get. He's not going to get many starts. I mean, he should probably be starting soon, the way he's playing, but I'm not going there. When I wildcard, because we have to realize, guys, it's only game week 6, and you need to keep this team now for the next 19 weeks, whatever it is, because you're not going to wildcard now until after Christmas. So you need to pick players for the long term, no short term punts. Duran, is he going to start every game? He's not yet shown that. So I would avoid players like that and get players like the ones I've selected, you like Saka and Mbumo. These are the main glue guys for their team. They're going to start every game if they're fit. So I think that's what I'm going for with this draft. Players I can rely on. I play 90 minutes and sort of the main men for their team.
A fair shout.
Let's take a comment as well. Harry says, "Good evening, Hassan Jordan. Hope you're both good."
Yeah, good. Thank you,
Harry. Hope you're well. Patrick, hi guys. Did Salah, Jota, Nedeljkovic out for Saka and Mbumo, Gabriel for my 3-free transfer? The worth selling Pedro for Vardy for -4 when he's due back the 6th of October. I'll hold him. I think the moves you've done are decent moves. I think Saka is going to be popular this week. We know Arsenal got the nice fixtures. And Mbumo, I've been banging on about him for a couple of weeks. I think he's going to be a really good option. And he has proved to be a decent option, so far. We know Gabriel is going to be a solid pick. Again, Salah is interesting because Salah, I think, is due for a price decrease, Jordan. So price drop.
I did see
Does that come as a surprise to you?
It does, yeah, because I know that we want Saka back in our teams because he has Leicester at home, but is it worth taking Salah out for Saka when, if we just check Saka's obviously stats this season in terms of goals and assists, he's had 5 assists and 1 goal. Yeah. So you're going to get the assists from Saka, but if you compare it to Salah in terms of how many goals he scored and assists, he scored 3 goals and got 4 assists, but Salah is scoring more than Saka is at the moment. And
look how mad this is. Like, this is transfers out for this round so far. So Salah is the 4th most transferred out player heading into game week 6, which I find mad, but it's literally because people are foaming in Saka. I think I'm going to be bold here. I think Salah outscores Saka in the next 2 games.
I agree.
I might be completely wrong because you look at Salah's fixture: Wolves, Palace, both away games, where Saka has. Who does Saka actually have? Let me have a look. Saka has 2 home games against Leicester and Southampton. It's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, I'm
I
not
still
100%.
think,
Can
still
Salah
think,
outscore him?
I still think he does, even with those nice fixtures. Like I said, Arsenal have only scored 2-1 goals in their last games. Now, obviously, Leicester and Southampton are not the fixtures they've obviously had. I expect more goals from that game, but again, Saka is returning more assists than goals this season, and I have a feeling Salah will score, and maybe Saka gets assists and not maybe a goal. That's what I'm thinking will happen.
Yeah, well, on the subject of Salah, 311,000 managers have already transferred him out. I'm going to be one of them, even though I've just said that I think he might outscore Saka for the next 2 fixtures. You're looking at Salah's stats. He's got 3 goals and 4 assists for the season. What's Saka on at the moment?
5 assists and 1 goal.
So 1 goal, 5 assists. He's got 1 more assist, 2 fewer goals. We know Salah does also rack up bonus points usually if he does get a goal. We know Salah's on penalties as well. Saka probably is as well. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But obviously Salah takes up, nearly 3 million more than Saka, to be fair. So he's a lot more expensive. Can you cover it? Assuming you're not going to captain Salah in the next 2 or 3, then maybe I can see why people are selling him if you're just going to perma-cap Haaland for the next 2.
But at the same time, it does create a problem. Just going back to Patrick's comment about him taking out Salah and Jota.
Yeah.
You have, unless you have a defender, you have no Liverpool attack cover for the next few games. And I don't know whether you want to take all your Liverpool assets out for the next few games, because I think you want to include at least one still in there and not take completely all of them out, because I feel like it might backfire. It only takes 1 good game. Bearing in mind, Chelsea did score 6 against Wolves in their game, and arguably I'll say Liverpool are better than Chelsea in terms of a team. So maybe Salah goes on a mad run against Wolves and everyone's taking him out for that game. You're kind of in a predicament.
Yeah. All right, Roman feels like a benching headache every week, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it has its risks. Robbo to Gabriel, have Trent, Palmer to Saka, and Eze to Mbomo. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think their moves look fine if it's 3 free transfers. I think Palmer's a good pick still. I think if you've got Palmer, I think he's still Chelsea's main man, and I think I'd still expect Palmer to get good points going forward in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, all 3 moves are definitely worth it. I mean, I'll probably have all 3 in my team myself. I only sold Salah because I needed the funds to upgrade the rest of the team. Had Nedeljkovic and Barco and Pedro on the bench, so didn't have any bench cover at all. Now I have Robinson at least, says Patrick. Harry says my current team, no Salah or Haaland. That's a bit mad, no Haaland. Martinez, Gabriel, Trent, Kukurea, Rogers, Szoboszlai, Mbomo, Palmer, Mitoma, and Havertz and Jackson.
That's very bold, Salah and Haaland. I mean, I tried to go without Haaland and it hasn't worked for me, so I'm hoping it does work for you, Harry, especially with no Salah too.
Yeah, and Patrick also says I have Trent in defense. So yeah, Trent is good cover for Liverpool, but I still feel like I personally think double Liverpool still is a good play. I know Liverpool fixtures have not as Liverpool had a really nice start to the season in terms of the fixture run they had. Ipswich, Brentford, Man United, Forest, Bournemouth. I don't think that's that easy. To be fair, I know Liverpool made it sort of look easy, apart from that one loss to the Forest. 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0. So Liverpool have been quite comfy for the start. We know Palace and Wolves haven't got off the best start of the season either, so these could be decent fixtures. It does turn slightly from game week 8 when you got Chelsea, Arsenal, Brighton, Villa. I think that period will be tough for Liverpool, especially when you consider they've got to play Real Madrid in the Champions League during this period as well. So there will be rotation with Diaz, which slightly does worry me. But it's one that I have to probably take care of when we get closer to the time. So yeah, that's one thing to watch out for Liverpool, because in October they've got sort of a tough schedule with the Champions League. When you look at it, it's every 3 days they have a game, as well as the likes of Man City and Arsenal. But yeah, this is what I'm on at the moment, guys, for the wild card. Let us know if you would change anything in my team. What's your views on Stones with Rodri injured? You think he will play more, says Ali Mack. Yes, I definitely think Stones will now play more. He scored, obviously came in off the bench, saving the point, against Arsenal, getting the late goal. So he's definitely a big player for Man City, and he could even play in the DM role in the Rodri role. I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, and it's good for a defender slot 4, obviously fantasy, because that attacking threat that Stones provides could mean good for in terms of Man City asset.
I could do Smith Rowe out for Diaz. Yeah, probably wouldn't do -4 for that one.
No, I think keep Smith Rowe. I think he's had a really good start to the season. I mean, he did score a goal against Newcastle in that 3-1 win. He's had 2 goals and 1 assist so far, but the price is at 5.8. He's had a few price rises too, but still worth keeping.
But yeah, we're going to wrap it up here, guys. That's been the team selection video for game week 6. We hope you guys enjoyed. If you have, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to our channel as well. And we will catch you guys on Saturday morning for the deadline stream. So make sure you do tune in for that one. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Anything else you'd like to add, Jordan?
Yeah, obviously there's that other football Europa League tonight. I think Tottenham play
Karabag, I think. Got delayed, I believe.
Yeah, sorry that. So yeah, enjoy the football, midweek football. That's what's left the rest of the week, and we'll see you for deadline stream at the weekend. So take care, guys.